Hi, my friends. It's that time of year when we're enjoying APA-CRS, a great cataract and refractive congress out in Asia-Pacific. We're also here to share a little bit about the Hanita lenses at this time. And we're joined first by Dr. Assia, who is going to be sharing his experience with the lenses from Tel Aviv, Israel, at least virtually. Let's tune in to hear what he has to say. Professor Assia, welcome to the program.
Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. Well, for our audience, could you tell us a little about yourself?
Yes, I'm currently the director of the Center for Applied Eye Research at the Department of Ophthalmology at the Meir Hospital, which is right north to Tel Aviv. I was the chairman of this eye department for 25 years. And also the medical director and a partner of the biggest private eye hospital in the country, Eye Center, named Intal. And also involved in all kind of startup companies and developments, research, and so on.
And we see this as the beautiful Tel Aviv in the background.
Yeah, that's my town.
Great. Well, how long have you used Hanita lenses?
Well, I started my relation with Hanita many years ago after I finished my fellowship, and that was in 1991. I did my fellowship on intraocular lenses with David Apple at the Center for IOL Research in Charleston, South Carolina. And when I came back, I started working with Hanita lenses, and I would like to acknowledge that I'm the consultant for many years, over 27 years. And I also serve as the director of the advisory board. And so I've been using the old generation of Hanita lenses for the very beginning, from the PMMA lenses to the hydrophilic, now hydrophobic, premium lenses, and I use all the range for many years. So it's like 3 decades now.
That's great. Well, with the variety of IOLs available, can you discuss why you prefer Hanita IOLs?
Well, I use all type of lenses of all manufacturers, especially the premium lenses. Mm-hmm. I would like to have experience and to study all of them. But Hanita lenses made a lot of progress, and they actually have now the whole range of lenses: hydrophilic and hydrophobic, one-piece and plate optics, and now also the premium lenses, very nice V-Store, toric lens, and multifocal lenses. Starting with the bifocal lenses, the MF, which was also covered the intermediate range. And now they came out with a new lens termed Intensity, which is a multifocal lens, which we recently investigated. And it's a very nice and very special lens. So I use Hanita lenses because they do provide me solutions for all variety of lenses that I do need in my practice.
Now, you mentioned the Intensity. Is that the one that you implant most often, or is there another as well?
I do implant the multifocal lens. I do them all for all other companies. But recently I started to implant more and more of these lenses and study these lenses because they are very interesting. They have some very special features which we do not find with other lenses. So yes, I'm doing it in increasing numbers, and we are now doing the fine-tuning of our parameters for this lens because it is really very interesting and a different lens.
Can you share a little bit about your clinical experience with the Hanita Intensity lens?
This lens is designed a little bit different than the other lenses. Hanita lenses have their own algorithm which they developed, and this algorithm distributes the light in a different way. They call it DLU, and the light is distributed in such a way that it provides more energy to the near and intermediate as compared to the other lenses. So near is very significant. This is a very often complaint of patients having multifocal lenses that they can read but not comfortably. And that was different with the Intensity lens. Actually, this lens does not have only 3 foci. It's kind of it have also in between the intermediate and near and intermediate and far. And this is called intensifier. This is why it's called the Intensity lens. So it's kind of a very wide range of foci these patients have, and especially good in the near vision.
You know, for those who are trying to really visualize the intensity lens, what differentiates this IOL from others in a major way?
It differentiates in the way it distributes the lights and how much light is lost and causes this photic phenomena which all multifocal have. And only a small portion of the light is lost, about 6.5% of the light. The rest is utilized for the accurate vision. So the lens itself is on the same platform, which is known for many years and used in hundreds of thousands of lenses. But the light distribution is different. And as I said, it's extremely effective, and especially intermediate and near vision. So if a patient needs near vision, and actually patients now demand more near vision because they want it to be very, very precise and to be able to read small letters. We use now smartphone more than we use television. So we need the intermediate and near more than we need the distance. So and this is very effective, this new lens. Very interesting lens to look at.
That's great. Well, can you briefly describe the study on the Hanita intensity lens submitted to JCRS recently? We started with a study on 20 patients, 40 eyes. So in our study, we got some very good results. The average distance was 6 over 6.5, intermediate 6, 7.5, and near was 6.6 in all cases. We also did some questionnaire and asked the patient about their functional vision. Can they read? Can small letters? Driving day, driving at night? The regular questions regarding everyday life. It was scaled between 0 and 4, and all of the answers were 3 and higher, and most of them were 4 or very close to the 4. As for the photic phenomenon, diplopia and color vision was never a problem. Glare and halos, they too do notice, but it's not a major concern. So some patients do feel it, and neuroprotection works also. Neuroprotection neuroadaptation. It's not a myth. Neuroadaptation works, and with time, the number and the amount of the complaints are reduced, and patients feel it less and less. So this is also not a major complaint. And we have a feeling we see it less with intensities and with many other lenses. What patients were included in the study?
The patients we included were the regular normal patients, those who are suitable for multifocal lens. And patient selection is crucial for multifocal lenses. So this was the normal patients. The axial length was in the normal range, 22 to 24.5. Astigmatism, no more than 0.75 diopters, because we tested only the non-toric lenses. Now the toric lenses are also in the market in the low numbers, and soon we will have the entire range of toric lenses. But the patients in our study were the patients that did not require toric lenses, so they are all normal patients which we expected can achieve 6.6 vision.
And were participants included or excluded for any particular reason?
Only if they have any significant pathology that may interfere with good vision, whether it was a corneal, retinal vision, glaucoma, anything that was not normal, we did not want to have in this study. So they were all, generally they were all normal, regular patients.
Were there any other results that you'd like to speak about regarding this study?
Yes, the focus curve was also quite impressive. We had this focus curve which was corrected for far vision, and this patient with distance correction did not require any addition in order to have a 6.6 vision for intermediate and near. So actually the entire defocus curve was flat all over, from distance to near, which is quite impressive, and this is actually what prove that this is a real multifocal lens, and it was flat all along. There was no ups and downs as we may already see with some of the lenses.
What were the results regarding objective outcomes like visual acuity?
The visual acuity, the average visual acuity was 6/6.5, but we noticed that some of these patients were a little bit myopic. The average refraction was minus 0.25 as we targeted. And apparently in these lenses, we should target more to the emetropia. So now when we choose lenses, we go to emetropia or even to the first plus. We still need to do some fine-tuning of the A constant, and I believe it will be a little bit lower than what we are using now. But when we modify the A constant, it will be right on the emetropia, and this is where we should target. So we expect the distance vision to be even better. As for the intermediate, average 6/7.5, and the near was 6/6 or J1 plus in all cases. Some of them reached 6/3, which is fantastic. I cannot remember any lens in which we saw such near vision results as good as those with intensity. So I would say, if I have to characterize this lens in one parameter, I would say that this is a near intermediate. So if a surgeon looks for a lens that would provide especially good near and intermediate, this is one lens to look at.
Well, moving to another topic, would you like to discuss a little bit about the Assia Anchor?
Yes. Assia Anchor is a device that we designed many years ago, and this is a device which is used to treat subluxated lens. We started with subluxated crystalline lenses, as we can see following trauma, pseudoexfoliation, Marfan syndrome, and so on. And now we use it also to correct subluxation of posterior chamber intraocular lenses. It is different than the other devices, which actually are kind of the Sayoni ring or the Ahmed segment or the Malyugin Sayoni ring. And these are all equatorial rings which support the equator. They bypass the capsular axis and sutures to the scleral wall. What we designed is actually a capsular clip. And it looks like an anchor. This is why we call it anchor. Also, it anchors the capsule to the scleral wall. And the principle is, as I said, like a clip. So it has, if you can see it here, it looks like this. It has one arm in front and two arms behind. So it does clip very strongly. It supports the capsular axis, the equator, and in between. So it's a very wide support of the capsule, but only a small segment. So it's much easier to use. We used the first generation, and we did tens of cases, and it's very effective. But it has also some limitation. It was a little bit bulky. It was only biplanar. So now we modified to the second generation of the Anchor, which is thinner, much more flexible, and it is three-dimensional. It is on two levels, so it is by far much easier to implant. And if I show, instead of something which is flat, now it's biplanar, so it's much easier to go in and out. And we did a small study on 10 patients, and we found it is very effective in all cases. And I'm now using it routinely, and it will soon be in the market.
There's a lot of great technical information there. How would you say overall that it assists cataract surgery to improve outcomes?
It improves in the cases in eyes with complications. And as for subluxated lenses, we see more and more of those. Those who were implanted 10 years ago, and patients with pseudoexfoliation, which is quite common in our area, and a patient following trauma, eye myopia, unstable posterior chamber lenses, and unstable crystalline lenses. And this is the eyes in which you want to have more stability. And now we have a large variety of means to fixate lenses. We can do it with a ProLens suture, also with a 6.0, with the flanges, with Gore-Tex sutures. So it's a whole variety of techniques in which we can use and stabilize lenses. So we see increasing number of subluxated lenses, and now we have a whole armamentarium of means to treat it.
Fantastic. Well, Dr. Assia, is there anything else that you'd like to add? during our interview today?
Well, I think that development is still going on. We're still expecting more new lenses. We are not there yet. I mean, we are still looking for the dream of accommodative lens, but unfortunately, we are not there. And it's fantastic to have such an exciting era in which we see so often improvement and technologies.
That's fantastic. I actually have one last question, which is, how do you find the lens that we discussed today to be applicable to the Asia-Pacific market, which is where we're based?
Well, the clinical experience was very good in eyes from all over the world. So it's applicable to eyes, Asian eyes, or American, South American, African. I mean, they all actually behave similarly in terms of optics and refraction. So it is applicable in anywhere in the very same way all over the world.
Great. Well, Dr. Assia, thanks so much for joining the program with us. We loved seeing a little bit of Tel Aviv today and learning about these new advances in ophthalmology. We'll look forward to seeing you in the future for sure, hopefully at a physical show.
Thank you very much, and thanks again for the invitation.